Hello! You probably don't know who I am, and for those of you who do know, you don't know. Shut up. Okay, nice to meet you. It's been a long time. I know people probably thought that I died. Let me fix my mic real quick. Okay. Oh my gosh. Okay. That's better. So I've been wanting to be... Ugh. Okay, I don't have a script. I've been wanting to make videos again for a really long time now, but took a long break. I felt like I was getting burnt out, that there wasn't enough for me to do, and that I really didn't have a lot of people to do stuff with, so I kind of felt like I was just done for, okay? But I ended up coming around and coming back and playing games and recording, and I have a bunch of recordings saved, but there's no guarantee that they're ever going to be turned into videos. Instead of trying to make this like a full-time thing where I'm doing it 24/7 in hopes to make some larger impact, I'm just going to go back to what I'm used to doing and what I know of, and in this term I'm going to be spreading everything out over the course of like several different channels based off of the type of content I make. Now, with that being said, as this being my welcome back video, of course it's going to be with Deepwoken, because I took a large break from Deepwoken and have finally decided to come back. And I have been playing a little on and off, just trying stuff out, checking things out, seeing what's changed. If you're watching this, it's most likely sometime around the 25th or 26th of December. So, Merry Christmas, or Happy Hanukkah, or is it Merry Kwanzaa? Happy Kwanzaa? I'm not sure. Early Happy New Year's. A lot has changed, but I will get into all that probably in another video. Even though this is like my kind of like welcome back-ish video, I really want to make it on some of my terrible takes and ideas for Deepwoken. So this is what this series is going to be, if you can even call it a series. Let's just get into it. I wanted to talk about, for this one, it was going to be ideas for relics. Now, I had this list of ideas like days ago, and I had it all pre-recorded, so it's not written down, so I don't remember entirely what all I was talking about with the relics, but I'll try to like summarize from what I think I can remember saying. Around this time, archmage, I'm just going to start calling them arch to archmage, because I hear a lot of people say arch, like arch your back. But archmage was trying to push this thing, and maybe he still did, I'm unsure, but trying to push this thing where when you die you drop your relics. So I've heard some people say, yeah, well, if you're in the depths and you die, you can't take the relics to your next life, you can't do whatever with your relics. And yeah, I mean, I can see that when you die, dropping your relics would make more sense. On the other hand of it all, the issue with this is that more people are going to come hunting for you for relics. And there's already like this surge of freaks making these builds where all they specifically do is like zone you away from your relic chest and take your relics. So, yeah, that's pretty crazy, right? That's pretty insane. But in order for you to like drop relics, you gotta die. I don't know. I don't want to step too much into that, because I don't have relics. All right, I don't have a group to hell mode with. I don't have a group to Diluvian with. I tried recently and wiped like 4 slots. I'll talk about that in another video. But what I can remember from some of my ideas was, and hey devs, if you're listening, obviously take this with a grain of salt. I don't want to get belittled. I know archmage was I've been hearing he does not like the negative remarks on his name. I'm the same way, but let's just get into it. For the relic ideas, basically what I was thinking is that relics were, because so many YouTubers, so many content creators, so many people have relics already. If the goal was to try to find a way to get rid of relics in order to, put a chokehold on those relics, therefore people couldn't keep farming them and stacking them up, and relics wasn't this whole thing of like cops and robbers, whoever has the most whatever gets the most whatever. If you didn't want that to be the case, then I'd say for relics, it should, we should take a different approach. Let's make it so that they can decay. I don't know if you've ever played Warframe, but back when I used to play, you can get argon crystals, which you would use in order to craft whatever, right? Argon crystals were supposed to be super effective, super important. Well, if you ended up not using them within X amount of days or X amount of hours, they would drain and they would disappear. They would become corrupt and you couldn't use them anymore. So that was my first take. I was thinking maybe all relics should have something of that sort. The more sought after relics would have a shorter amount of days, whereas the least sought after relics would have a longer amount of days. The more easier relics would be on longer. So like rain spires and void spires would decay in like, I don't know, man, like 2 days, whereas like a sinner's ash or a moon's eye tome would decay in a day and a half or in 12 hours. And you could choose if you wanted that to be in like 12 hours Deepwoken time, 12 hours real time, 12 hours if not either of those times, then like I don't know, 12 hours when you're in the game, whatever the case may be, you know, put a little timer on it, kind of like with the light hooks and whatnot. That way, when people come to steal other people's relics, like say they go depth skanking, they go and they try to go and get a relic, they'll say, oh man, you know, like this relic's gotta, hold on, I'm about to spend money, I need to cut this part out. Hello, okay. I don't know what's going on. I'm still learning this program. I had a bunch of other stuff recorded, and it ended up not recording, but it's saved as a recording. I don't know where that recording went. I got a feeling that it's probably going to show up in after editing, which is going to be so very painful to see. But what I was getting at was that maybe, well, yeah, like the relics could end up timing down, and because of that, we would get like an extra opportunity to get our hands on relics. That way we could do stuff to get relics, and the relic drops would be a little bit easier. They don't have to be significantly easier, but the ways to get them and the drop chances of getting them would be significantly higher, and I think that that would be a pretty cool thing to use and to have. And on top of that, that way if people came to like take your relics or whatever the case may be, the relics could be on like a timer, so they would only have X amount of time to actually use said relics before like they couldn't use them. Even if you banked them, it wouldn't matter. And to like add on to all of this, I think that was pretty much it. Just essentially making it so that the relics have like a timer, and once that timer ends, you can no longer use them. And that like applies to all relics. That way, like people who already have the relics, like all these content creators and people who are wanting harder ways to get their hands on the relics or looking for more ways to abuse the way to get relics, I feel like this would fix all the problems, because at the end of the day, you lose your relics, right? If you don't use them, you lose them, right? So I feel like that would be a potentially like pretty cool mechanic. I remember, I think it was Akumatsu at the time, who was on the side of, hey, you know, we should like allow like dropping relics on deaths, because there's a lot more depth skankers, and now people are running like raids and guild wars and all this in the depths, specifically doing all this crazy stuff. And so I guess that was like everything that I was thinking about, like as it was all going down. I had some potential like alternatives to go with it all too. Like once a relic becomes, like once it runs out of time, it becomes corrupted. When it's corrupted, you have to put it in like a pod or some special whatever in the game, and when you put it in that special whatever, you can renew its time. But in order to do so, you have to like give something up, or if not renewing its time, then you could I'm sorry, I'm blanking on it because it's been so long. If you don't renew its time, then you could donate it into like some other pot or something, and when you donate it, everybody that's in your server has this innate like buff where their drop chance for relics and the chance for them to actually get their hands on relics just skyrockets, right? So it's kind of like getting like a 4 times chest or whatever, but specifically for whoever's in that server when whoever, donates their corrupted relics. And the higher the tier the relic, or the more sought after the relic, the longer the boost and the better the boost. So like, for example, Sinner's Ashes are supposed to be like the number one thing. So I've heard that they're like super hard to come by. Well, in that case, why not make it to where, like, okay, when a Sinner's Ash runs out, you have 1 or 2 options. Either A, you can take it to like some pot and like give up knowledge, or give up X amount of relics that would like equal the rarity of a Sinner's Ash, or whatever it is the devs decide that like they want to give up so that you can get this relic. And then that way you can extend the timer a little longer. Or B, your relic can be corrupted and you can take it to some other area. And when you take it to that other area, you can just see, my brain's functioning at half capacity. When you take it to that other area, you can donate it, and all those bonuses and boosts from the relic will just hit everybody that's in that server. Or I was thinking like guild wise or friend wise, but if you have nobody there, then it's just you, right? I feel like because everybody's so hungry to chase whoever for relics, you could make it to where like when it runs out, you can essentially donate its essence to a server wide, right? Everybody gets that boost. So if you have like 2 or 3 Sinner's Ashes that are like burning out and they're corrupted, you couldn't extend them in time, you didn't have the materials or the whatever to extend them, you could end up moving all these corrupted remains over to whatever new system they would end up putting into the game. I just keep saying pots because I'm thinking of it as like little trash cans or little cauldrons or something, but like in their own specific areas, kind of like, I guess, how the Cold Forge is supposed to be. But yeah, you could put them off somewhere over there, and when you do this, you can end up giving like some boost to everybody that's in that current server, and they have it even when they log off. The only time it ends is when it's on its timer, which you can make either in-game, like an in-game timer, or make it to where like it runs even when you're offline. I guess that would be up to the devs, but like if that did happen, right, it would make it to where like, because Sinner's Ashes were supposed to be so big or whatever, you give a boost to like the rest of the server and they'd have an increased chance of getting Sinner's Ashes, right? Or an increased chance of just relics in general for X amount of time, and depending on however many Sinner's Ashes they put in or however many other relics they put in, will determine like the rarity of whatever the relic is, and how long it'll last for. And then these people without relics or people with relics or whatever the case may be can go out and do like a typical boss, or maybe even a void zone, whatever, or maybe even just go fishing, right? And then their chances of getting something that they probably would never get skyrockets immensely, right? So you go and you do hell mode with this buff on, right? Somebody couldn't get it in time and they just decided to donate like their 5-6 Sinner Ashes for whatever reason. They had 5 or 6 of them, right? You run hell mode with them or whoever else, and because you ended up having that buff, you get like 10 Sinner Ashes at the end of one of your hell modes, and it's like, yo, how that happened? It's because of whatever. And like at the end of the day, right, you keep farming it until your timer runs out, and you're gonna have a gross amount, right? But they still run on a timer. They can still be corrupted, and if you can sacrifice whatever it is the devs will want you to sacrifice, then you could extend that timer. If not, then you lose it all. And if you don't want to lose it all, then you just take them on whatever slots that you can get them on while you got the time. Could be a terrible idea. Could be something worth poking around with if like the numbers and whatnot could be figured out. But I just thought that it would be a cool thing to add to relics, because they're supposed to be like these super big and important things that everybody's hunting for nowadays, so much so that they're willing to kill other players for. And it's like, why not, make it a little more crazy? Why not put a little more whatever onto it. You know, make it so that they can spoil, make it so that they can like expire. That way it puts a little less pressure onto everybody, or maybe it puts even more pressure, gives you more of a reason to stay online, get stuff done, focus, and use them accordingly. All right, you can't just let them go for granted. They're supposed to be like super important. But yeah, that was one of them. I'm assuming there might have been a few other ideas I had with them. I'd have to go back and listen to the recording. I don't feel like doing that right now. So this is it. Eat my balls. Bye.